Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
Welcome to Tony's Tech Side. I'm here every weekday, right? That's what I say, every day. So we stream live on www.africatechradio.com. And this is Tony's Tech Side. Every weekday, 9 a.m. West African time till midday. We'll learn a tech word today. After learning a tech word, we dig deep into the rubbles of history to find some precious jewels that can kind of like help us launch ourselves into the future, motivate us, yes, to think about what is next. And then we share the most important and juiciest tech stories impacting Africa to keep you informed, the continent of Africa. You can share your stories with the rest of us on WhatsApp. You can text or send a voice note on 0913-558-1766. Please add +234 if you're texting from outside Nigeria. What is the word for the day? Our word for today is Google. Yes, of course, you know what Google is. So what is Google? I've asked 5 people this today. What is Google? If you ask what Google, and you're like, Google, yeah, like Google. And then someone said in one song, Nigerian, say Google the Google. Google no sabi the Google of Google is, finds it hard to define what Google is. Whatever. Google was founded in September 1998, on the 4th of September. But turns out, yes, it was done on the 4th, but the 4th was like a Friday, so they skipped it. 5th, 6th, and then on 7th, the office opened, and that was when it became official. Yeah. So how do we describe Google now? So the website, actually, google.com. A lot of people don't know that it's also a website. It has become such an institution that, in its short existence, it's 25 in 2023. Yes, Google is 25 in 2023. And in such short time, 25 years, the existence of Google has changed not just the process of how we search for things, right? But then endless amount of information found online has totally shifted. And in fact, the way we think about the internet, the way we talk about the internet, the way we interact with the internet, Google totally has changed that. And that is our word for today. It's a website, it's a search engine, right? And it's also a company, like the company that runs all the services that Google offers. Yes, so the term Google itself is a creative spelling of Googol, Google, yeah, which is a number equal to 10 to the 100th power, like 10 to the 100th power, if you can imagine that. Or much more colloquially, it is an unfathomable number. That's what it means. So 10 to the 100th power is just something unfathomable, exactly. And it was coined in the 1930s, and there is no direct link, but most people attribute this to the 9-year-old nephew of an American mathematician called Edward Kastner. Soon after Google was created, the company trademarked his name, and then that trademark name became a popular verb. You hear people say, oh, Google it. I'm Googling you. Or I Googled my friend, my boyfriend, my girlfriend. I Googled the president, or I Googled Google anything, including I Googled my name too, Anthony. I did that this morning. When users, Google people Google themselves, they call it Googling. It wasn't a word until after Google. So most times you find something, except if your name is absurdly rare, you most likely find Google gangers. It's a portmanteau word combining Google and doppelganger, or your namesake, listed in Google search results. You most likely have found that, except if your name is rare, you most likely have found a Google ganger, like a doppelganger. Exactly. So, and a whole new industry around Google sprung up. Immediately the search engine called Google, started or came into being. So there is something called search engine optimization, or SEO. Yeah, SEO works, to boost the ranking of a name or a term on Google. That's it. And other search engine results too. In 2005, the newly minted term Google bomb became popular, and it's could be used to describe the intentional skewing of Google search results by creating links to misleading web pages. Whether you like it or not, we now live right now, presently, in a Google-centric world, a world where you don't need to really think about things in a certain way too much. All you just need to do is Google it and crawl and get all of the information you need right before you, and then dish out and choose whatever information you want. Now, this, as Google celebrates 25 in 2023, the new wave of thinking around search, right, has begun, and it has started with AI, artificial intelligence. Will Google go under after just 25 years? Will Google survive the AI wave that is ravaging right now the whole world? Google, 25 years after search, have they actually found anything? Well, congratulations to Google and all the bright minds at Google and all the things Google has made us, to benefit from. And cheers to the new world of search and how search is viewed and how search is interacted with. Well, digging deep into the rubbles of tech. September 4, 1998, Larry Page and Sergey Brin filed the incorporation papers for Google in California, United States of America. Google, ultimately changed the 19th and 20th century, kind of. And this filing was on a Friday. The date of official incorporation will be marked as Monday, September 7th. Yes, and kind of like started out as a privately held company, and then they had their IPO, that's the initial public offering, about 6 years later on the 19th of August 2004. And we're celebrating Google at 25 in 2023. And, the many things, or the vista that Google kind of like opened us up to. And some 46 years ago, September 5th, 1977, the NASA Voyager 1 was launched into space. This spacecraft was the farthest man-made object in space. Now, shout out to India because, what almost everyone has been trying to do for a while, landing on a particular part of the moon. India cracked that in 2023 in August, late August, like the last week of August. And boom, it was beautiful, by the way, to see someone else, like another country that's not US or Russia or, the ESU, the European Space Union, or any other big power, like China or whatever. And the number of things that India and the likes of like South Africa, they're doing in that space exploration sector is totally mind-blowing, and we say keep going. Yeah, and if you're in Nigeria, then I think you should pay attention to this. Yes, so high alert, that's what they say you should be on, as we hear that banks, telecom workers, electricity workers, and other essential sectors may be joining the NLC strike and embarking on a 2-day demonstration. So it's going to be like a sit-at-home kind of thing. However, the bankers I've spoken to, today, I spoke to some staff from First Bank, GT Banks in Nigeria. They were already at work at 7 a.m., but they also were not sure if it was just a formality because they heard of it, they saw the papers, but they were not informed. Like, you were not informed. Oh, okay, well done. They were not informed. And it's possible that they may start working from 8 a.m., but then they may finally get, like that particular announcement later on from their heads up down to maybe later in the afternoon. So if you need to run some transactions that need you to be in the bank physically, please do that. Nonetheless, digital channels will run smoothly. According to some persons who we spoke to also, Sterling Bank, they said that digital channels will run smoothly. They would ensure that happens, and they may actually start up with ATMs working, but they don't think they're going to continue with it if they actually join the strike action. So if they join the strike action, the sit-at-home strike action, I just had to add that, it will be possible that they will, on the first day, fill up the ATM machines around the banks, but the ones that are like far off from the bank areas, they may not be able to continue, like fill it the next day, just to ensure that, the security of that particular place, so that they don't have hoodlums breaking the place and causing havoc on their property. Now, this is to all POS, point of sale vendors. Hold your ears. this is not the time for you to unleash more pain on Nigerians. This is not the time. Do not take advantage of this situation. And to all those who have been shouting, let's use digital platforms, please and please, if you're an engineer, if you work twice as hard to ensure that no digital channels, like you don't have any breakdown, because you're ultimately working people through PTSD. Like you tell them, oh, let's go online. Then one small thing happens, everyone is off the online street and everybody's back on the street again. Let's ensure that as we're saying, yes, let's go online, let our payments be this and whatnot, we're also encouraging people to stock cash at home, go and collect all your money in the bank, put it under your bed. Like, why are we doing that, guys? Okay, so if you need to get things, it's going to be 2 days. I don't think there should be any pressure on anybody. If you've been paid and you haven't gotten the cash yet or whatnot, well, this might be a good time to go get some cash. But please don't get all your money and stuff it under your bed, because we're back again on Thursday. That's in Nigeria. Meanwhile, celebrations are in line in Lagos, and congratulations are also in line in Lagos as the Lagos Metro service goes live. Yes, guys, it's live. Okay, so passengers started paying for the first time on Monday, the 4th of September 2023, which is about 20 years after plans for the rail line called the Blue Line in Lagos were announced, and 14 years after construction started on the project. This project has taken 14 years to finish up the construction, run the necessary test rides, and finally put people on it to go on it. The Lagos Metro Rail Service. It's a 13-kilometer, that's 8-mile blue line from Marina on the Lagos Island to Mile 2 on the Lagos mainland, and it links the business districts with the residential area. So people going to work from Mile 2 to Lagos Island, Marina, exactly, like Marina is like the first stop. You can now do that in just 35 minutes. Yes, 35 minutes. That's what the estimates say. Well, the roads will take you, say, 3 hours plus or minus, for you to go from Marina to Mile 2 on a regular Lagos day. But these days are not exactly regular. That's what I'm thinking. So if we have, the whole full subsidy thing now, and it's taking you about an hour plus to go through from Marina to Mile 2 and from Mile 2 to Marina, is this exactly a really good solution? Well, for me, I'm thinking if this solution had come way earlier, right? 14 years in construction, 20 years in waiting from announcements, would have forgotten about it, right? Would have been planning the next step, like expansion of the blue line. But nonetheless, 1 hour to 30 minutes is actually a good deal. Looking at the fact that if everything returns to normal, which I doubt things usually do return to normal, but if everything returns to normal, it will be 3 hours down to 30 minutes. But now, since it's about an hour and the train service will take you 30 minutes to do that, then I think it's actually fine. There'll be an initial 12 trips during the morning and evening peak hours, which will rise to 76 at full operation. So it's, when they say wait, it will come. It may delay, but it will come. That's exactly the situation. How much do you have to pay? Well, it will cost you 750 naira. Just get your card, your Carrywise card, and then swipe through. The Blue Line is one of the 6 rail and monorail lines that are part of the Lagos State Transport Plan that includes ferries and bus rapid transport. That's a BRT. I think we need to look into the BRT. Now, the other one, aside the Blue Line, is the Red Line. The Red Line is from Agbado to Marina. That's another part of Lagos that is thickly populated residential area, to Marina, which is like the business district of Lagos. And then there is the Red Line Airport branch, which is the airport branch of the Red Line that runs from Ikeja to the international terminal, the Murtala Mohammed International Airport International Terminal. I think that's Terminal 2. Yep. And it's congratulations and well done, even if it's after 14 years, and saying, guys, yes, jump on it, get on it, use the rail line, send your videos and send comments, and let us know what it's like when you use it. And we'll also be using it, and we're going to be letting you. Those I know who have used it have all said, yes, it's good. But it just started. I would like to know what your comments are when you actually use it. 1 week after, 2 weeks after, 1 month after, to ensure also that the maintenance level and maintenance rate is, kept. You can text or send a voice note or send a video. Yes, 0913 558 1766. You can also tag us on social media at Africa Tech Radio on Twitter and on Facebook, and at ATech Radio on Instagram. The African Export-Import Bank, that's the Afreximbank, is in the process of evaluating Kenya's proposal to host a Pan-African settlement house for intra-African trade deals. Now, what exactly is the Pan-African Settlement House, and what exactly is all of this? What's the story about? So PAPSS is Pan-African Settlement, and it's a platform where Africans can settle payments at no cost, right? That's just like the instant, secure trans-border payment, so from one country to another. Why this? We found out that Africans were not buying from Africans. So a Nigerian will most likely order from the US, from the UK, from Ukraine, Russia, China, instead of ordering the same product from Kenya, from South Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Zambia, from Ghana. Then we said, how are we going to solve this? And they said, if you're going to make payments, you have to convert your naira to dollar first, and then convert your dollar to the CD, and then when you're getting your payments back, you have to get your payment from CD to dollar, from dollar to naira if you're going to be paid, and then you're losing money, right? And it's stressful. That's just the main thing, and trade shouldn't be stressful. So the whole of Africa came together and they said, and say, what exactly is this problem? And they say, it's a tech problem, just like the SWIFT system, and how people are trying to get around it, the SWIFT payment system. So they formed the PAPSS, Pan-African Payment System, and it's instant and it's secure trans-border payment within the continent. And there's also another thing. If you're outside the continent, like India, for example, who wants to actually join in, if you're outside the continent, a country outside the continent, you're going to join in, right? So it's going to be instant secure from Africans. And I think it's a big one for China and Russia, because I think China was also thinking about or discussing joining in that payment system. And it's most likely going to also make it to be a different system. So you have the SWIFT payment system that's run by the United States of America, and you have another system, like other quasi systems that work the same way. Afreximbank's Executive Vice President for Finance, Administration and Banking Services, Dennis Denya, said the Kenyan government has decided to support the rollout of the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPSS, and there's a governance council that is considering that proposal. The decision will be made shortly and communicated. In July, the Central Bank of Kenya, the CBK Governor Kamau Toge, disclosed Kenya's proposal to host PAPSS, which facilitates intra-African payments in different national currencies. So right now, you can pay in Naira and collect in CDs without, having to switch through dollar, go through the dollar. Right, this payment system was launched in January 2022 following a trial phase that involved 6 central banks in West African Monetary Zone. Yes, the ECOWAS Monetary Zone. That was where this trial went on. Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia. They've joined Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Djibouti on the PAPSS platform. Just imagine what it looks like when about 1 billion people on the continent they have the ability and the capacity to trade among themselves. It's going to be totally mind-blowing. And a successful application to host the payment and settlement system will position Nairobi, Kenya, as a financial hub and lead to establishing a single common market under the African Continental Free Trade Area, the AFCFT. I've always been shouting about this thing. Africa accounted for about 19% of Kenya's 3 trillion shilling total trade value in 2022. Just imagine if this 3 trillion shilling total trade, Africa accounted for, say, 80% of it. And the same thing of Nigeria's, total trade volume, and the same thing, trade value, the same thing 2023, 2024, 2025, South Africa, the same thing, Egypt, the same thing. It's mind-blowing. So what the AFCFTA can do for Africa and for Africans, we haven't exactly, been able to fathom yet. Now, Safaricom is also in Kenya. So before I leave Kenya, Safaricom has signed a loan deal worth 15 billion shillings. That's about $102 million with domestic banks. And the proceeds of this will go towards funding environmentally sustainable project. We're happy about that. And then swiftly, since we're still in business, the 3 particular markets on the continent have been ranked as top 3 best performing exchanges in Africa in the last 3 months. And these are the Ghana Stock Exchange, which emerged first, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, which emerged second, and the Malawi Stock Exchange, which emerged third in the past 3 months. Best performing exchanges in the last 3 months, as they would say. We know they laugh for here. I think these guys mean business. Well, if you ever thought that Elon the Musk is an attention-seeking person, you may not be wrong, by the way, because since he actually took over Twitter, I think it's either he's searching for money or he's just seeking attention to like boost his ego, whatever. But it's just been I won't call it a match rap, but he's been on rampage. Like every day you wake up, he has tweeted something new, and the something new always affects us. Like, Elon, what's up now? I wouldn't say I'm an Elon boy, right? But you have some boys around who actually want you to relax, breathe in. What's with the new video and audio call feature coming to X? Oh, for Elon, it's just one tweet. Video and audio calls coming to X. That's all. And everybody, the whole X has to be like one madhouse. Well, this was what he wrote on his platform, X, formerly known as Twitter. Always say that so that you be very clear. For people who still think it's Twitter, maybe you need to update your app so you can see X on your app. And he most times doesn't exactly say or specify exactly what the features would be about or something. It's just like, let me put you, as I said, attention-seeking people. I never said anything, by the way. So these features are actually supposed to work on iOS, Android, Mac, and PC systems, and you wouldn't be needing any phone number to do so. LOL. All the people that are shouting NIN, yes, it's your life. Okay, sorry. And all those people who have their lives tied to their phone number, and people who think that they're going to be able to track us and do everything they can when they just have a phone number. Sorry about that. Since Elon took over, he's been trying to make X, formerly known as Twitter. It will always be a problem for me. I don't know, because I grew up in a Twitter world. Okay, X, formerly known as Twitter, he's been trying to make it profitable. Most people think that he's just maybe seeking attention, or maybe he's just, someone who paid how many million and just wants to control, like he's a control freak. No, brother is looking for money. Yes, money. A lot of things have happened with Tesla stocks and shares, with the news around everything that's happening, but you can't invest that much money and then at the end of the day, the company isn't exactly making money. Like, it's not bringing anything out for you. Remember that it seems like some people also borrowed him money to buy Twitter, so that money has to come. And he also hired Linda Yakarimo to also try to help him make that money. And when she came in, the whole rebranding of Twitter, from rebranding of X, or what was rebranded, Twitter or X now? Twitter was rebranded to X, and they want to make it an everything app like China's WeChat. I've seen China's WeChat. I've talked to people who are in China who used to WeChat. Trust me, the world is not China, and China is not the world. I still await what the thought process is about making Twitter a WeChat. But if anybody at all can make it happen, I think it's going to be Elon, because why not? Of course, it just has to be him. Something you should also be paying attention to now is, if you're a millennial like myself, hearing that the WordPad on Microsoft is finally going to be buried. Yes, Microsoft will no longer be updating WordPad, and they plan to remove that WordPad from future release of Windows. So if you're going to get Windows later on, WordPad will not be a part of what you're going to be getting. Microsoft is a software giant. They can decide to do whatever they want to do. And this time, they have decided that they're going to be recommending you get Microsoft Word. It's a paid-for process. For those people who do not know, those people who use free Microsoft, using cracked version, or don't even think that I just said it now. Paid word processor. WordPad is the only thing that's free for use. If you are using paid my brother, my sister, you're not a tech bro, taxi, so remove it from your mouth. Don't think about it. Don't talk of saying it. So Microsoft is also thinking that they're not thinking, they've made the decision that they're going to be removing WordPad from future releases of the Windows, and they're going to be recommending, that is a soft word for saying pressing your neck, forcing you, ensuring that you pay for their Microsoft Word processor service, and that's what you're going to be using. Of course, Microsoft Word gives you more features than WordPad, but for those of us who have our umbilical cords tied to WordPad, when you don't want to open Microsoft Word, you just want a place where you can just type and do whatever you want, copy and code from that point. You don't need any, extra effigy, nothing else. You just need a place where you can do that. Well, you may need to find other Word apps aside WordPad on Microsoft. Exactly. Now, WordPad hasn't had the same amount of attention, though not like Microsoft Word. It was updated with the Windows 7 Ribbon UI. I don't know why they did that, because that was just how many weeks ago that they updated this particular WordPad, and now they're saying, you know what, why people have trust issues. One of the reasons it is like this. So when they remove it entirely, from future releases of Windows, what will you be doing? It will most likely be the Windows 12 version that we're expecting to see in 2024. That's when that is going to happen. But then that one is also coming with a lot of AI powered features. So I think they're just trying to forcefully upgrade you to the next level. Tech Bro and Texas, hear word. Right now, start looking for other apps. I think it will be Lillian who will tell you what other apps you can use when WordPad finally goes to the grave. 1 minute of silence for WordPad, especially those of us who spent our lifetime. In fact, the first thing I used when I used a PC, yes, a PC, yes, a desktop computer. Come on, let me not try to spruce up the word. A desktop freaking computer. The first thing I used was WordPad. They say don't touch any of that, just open this one. Just be typing there. Let's be seeing that you have before we can introduce you to the next level of, And I was like, man, I started typing. I was like, yes, I can type. And now, 1 minute silence. For what? For WordPad. As we celebrate Google at 25, yes. I asked earlier on, what is Google? And I think I would put someone on the spot. What do you think Google is? Like, to you, what is Google?
Google is a search engine. It's
Okay.
a powerhouse.
Okay.
Yes, that's Google.
Okay, just that?
Yes.
What is Google to you? Who is Google to you? Not like a boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, what is Google to you?
Google is the oracle.
The oracle.
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of people think of Google in different ways, right? You would ask, I asked some people, and the answers were very, very. Some people were like, I've never really thought about who is Google. Like, what is Google? I just Google, like I just use Google, like I don't need to think about it. Google has changed our lives in ways that we cannot imagine. 25 years ago, there was nothing like Google. And in 25 years, if you're asked to do anything, you're like, just Google it, literally. And you even be dumb if you didn't Google something before asking someone. Like, you could just Google it, come on. But Google has controlled information, how information has been perceived, how information is being perceived, how it's also being distributed, for the past 20 plus years. I don't want to say 25 years because they weren't an instant hit like the first year, like boom, everybody in the world is in Google. But then there are also some challenges that Google may just be facing that a lot of people haven't had time to think about or ruminate. And as Google turns 25, the question is, when Google search doesn't have answers, who do we turn to? Have you ever thought about that? Oh God! Wait, are you pointing to God? Are you serious now? Okay, what happens when Google doesn't have answers to its own questions? When Google launched Bard, the AI tool, earlier this year, right? It was, I don't want to call it a public disgrace, kind of, because while they were asking live Bard a question, just like ChatGPT, Bard kind of like made a mistake, and it was live. It was like in public, and people trashed Google for it. And Google went back and sat down and worked on Bard again and say, you know what? Even if Google's AI Bard gives you answers. Please cross-check the answers. We're not telling you it's 100% proof. So what happens? Oh, that eye, right? Bombastic side eye. Exactly. I thought as much. Like, you're supposed to be the all-knowing. Aside God, you're the oracle, right? But then there are some questions, 2 questions I think Google still doesn't have answers to. First is search engine optimization and the industry around that. Google created something called search engine optimization markets. Now you see people trying to rank higher on Google. There are other search engines like others, right? But nobody really thinks of others. Even if Europe, for example, have tried over and over again and failed to introduce other search engines to compete favorably with Google, but Google just seems to just think when you're playing basketball, when you do the 3, and you're not like, yeah, you put your hand down, you're like, oh, what crazy number? Like, yeah, that's exactly what Google has done all over, like everywhere. I think it's only in China where there's like Bing and you're like there's like Baidu and Bing and the others, but not Google. But outside China, it is Google. Now, that search engine optimization market, Google hasn't exactly been able to control it as it wants because people like find their way around it. You find people who trick the, web crawlers and the technology around search engine optimization to ensure they rank higher than others, right? And that is a very big problem that has caused a lot of misinformation and disinformation and in the world. And the second thing would be AI-powered search. Yes. Now, what is the next step after search? So first off, yes, we're very happy with the fact that when you search on Google, you find 1 million answers. But with the introduction of ChatGPT and other AI tools, well, Microsoft did a good one with Bing, adding AI tools to Bing, and Bing kind of gives you much more specific answers, and it's not just a wide range of 1,000 pages worth of answers. And Google hasn't exactly been able to crack that. Will that be the death of Google? Like, will Google come to an end when AI finally sits on the throne? These are the 2 questions that Google is still searching for answers. And maybe if they find the right answers, they may finally pivot the Google search, which has been like the pillar of everything that their services run on, and then move on to like the new AI wave, the new AI world, where everyone currently is fighting for something. I trust the team at Google because they're like really, really smart people. Google for Africa, like they hire the best developers, whatnot. They hire literally the best. But then, as I said, when Google does not have your answers, what do you do? Well, according to my friend here, you have to look up to God. And I think that's one of the things Google will be doing for the next few years, looking up to God for answers, because they themselves do not have those answers right now as we speak. Wake me up when September ends. Wake me up when Google finds the answers to these questions that I've posed, and these answers that I'm sure they're asking themselves and they're searching every day for, but haven't found any answer to yet. Stay safe, make the best of 2023, and keep listening to Africa Tech Radio.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.